covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Harris. Welcome into Week 3 of the high school football season and Week 4 of WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Alabama Credit Union, loans, real life. Because it's 1 week is the difference, because remember, the first week of the high school season is Week 0. And that's why we're kind of off base a little bit in terms of the weeks of the season versus the weeks of our show. All right, we got another hour of great high school football for you again tonight, and we have highlights. I think 14 games. I've been running around somewhere in that neighborhood. I think we have one game that we won't get on for you, but we'll have a bunch of games, plus our complete Football Friday high school scoreboard, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our premier service company Outside the Huddle feature, recruiting tales around the SEC, behind enemy lines, and much more. You get the picture, and we begin, of course, with our game of the week.
Now, the Football Friday Game of the Week.
Class 4A, Region 4, ACA at Bibb County. Both teams 1-0 in the region. This was a defensive battle in just crazy rain. Weather delay is a big part of this one. First quarter, Patriots quarterback Kai Young drops back to throw, and he is picked off by Bibb County's quarterback Courtney Morrow, and the Choctaws take over possession. Shortly after, the game entered a weather delay, as you can see, and there was lightning too. That was the first of multiple lightning strikes. Couple of different delays. Play finally resumed after more than an hour. They had to clear the stadium and everything. Great job here by Alex Booth with this video. They cleared the stadium. They brought it back with 4:50 to go in the first half. We hung around to get as many highlights as we could. All defense tonight. That is a fumble picked up by Bibb County. And this was just the way this game went. It was just defense, defense, and more defense. We left, as you see another fumble there, we left when it was 0-0, and that's not a bad thing, because as we go to the scoreboard, we're going to show you what happened in our game of the week. No score until overtime. This was an overtime game, 0-0. Bibb County pulls it out in OT. This is a huge region win for the Choctaws. Bad weather. Not much offense, but I guarantee you Bibb County will take it. What a great football game, old school football game tonight. But Bibb County gets the win over ACA by the final score of 6-0 in our game of the week. More on that coming up later on in the show. 6A Region 4, 2 3-0 teams. Central hosting Bessemer City for homecoming. And they didn't get to have the parade yesterday because of the weather. But here comes Bessemer City coming out swinging. The Purple Tigers offensive line paved the way for Keldrin Turner, the running back. He gets it down, and that led to a field goal. 3-0 Bessemer City now. Central quarterback Armani White, who's had a great year, but this Bessemer City defense gave him fits. He is looking, of course, to make a play here, throws it up. Antoine Page, there's a lot of white shirts there. Probably not a good idea. That ends a threat for Central. Purple Tigers on offense now. Turner again. Turner, get out of here. Oh, my gosh, man. Just runs over a defender, barreling down inside the 10, and then he is going to finish the drive. Why not? He deserved it. He gets in for the first touchdown of the game. This young man had himself a night. Bessemer City maintained complete control of the game. I'm a little surprised by this. If we check out the final, spoiling Central homecoming tonight, first loss for the Falcons. Bessemer City shuts out the Falcons in the region. Big win for them, 24-0 the final. All right, let's keep it going. More 6A Region 4. Hueytown at Paul Bryant here in Tuscaloosa. Hueytown was up 22-0 before halftime, and they would add on Jabron Ellington, a 1-yard touchdown run. The Stampede would try to score before half, get on the board. Javion Johnson, as the protection breaks down, nobody open. He has a big run, but it would not lead to points. 29-0 at half. Third quarter, Stampede running back Jordan Spencer gets the ball knocked out, but it's recovered by Hueytown for the turnover, and Anthony Robinson with a 2-yard touchdown run. This one was all Hueytown tonight as they roll over the Stampede by the final score of 51-0. More 6A Region 4. Northridge at Brookwood tonight. Hit and miss with the weather. We had delays some places it was okay. This is the Jaguars' Mason Elam getting the scoring going around the left end, and he puts the shoulder down to get it into the end zone. 30-yard touchdown run. Next possession, Rowdy Christensen, the outstanding quarterback, finds Parker Klein And he is, as Coach Bryant used to say, out to practice early. Just runs past the defense right there. 75-yard touchdown. Northridge in command and looking for more. Brylan Tubbs off tackle. Defense parks like the Red Sea. 36-yard touchdown. And the Jags tonight in control. They win it big on the road at Brookwood. Region win for Northridge, 52-12, the final. Well, our first segment of high school highlights are in the books, but we aren't even close to being done. Still to come, Hewitt Trussville and Spain Park. We're both in action tonight. But first up, the Hillcrest Patriots at home against Vestavia Hills. The game was moved up 3 hours to 4 o'clock. We went early. We have the highlights to prove it coming up next on Football Friday, along with, like we said, a couple of other games coming up later from Birmingham. We'll be right back.
We are the Northridge Jaguar cheerleaders.
We love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Jags! Go Northridge! Go Jags! Go Jags!
Great job, Northridge cheerleaders. Welcome back into Football Friday on WVUA 23, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris. The Class 7A Region 3 game between Hillcrest and Vestavia was moved up to 4 o'clock this afternoon in an effort to beat the rain. We made an adjustment. We got on down there. Let's check it out. For the most part, I guess it was a good call. Looks pretty good right there weather-wise. And it is Bryson Kimbrough on play action, finding Caden Smith. You like this if you're the Patriots. That's a touchdown. But from there, Vestavia flexed their muscles a little bit. They have a throwback here. Charlie Taff to Bruce Littleton, and he's gone for the touchdown. And the Rebels were just getting going. Later, it's Taff reading and running for another score. And then William Tonsmeyer fakes a handoff and gets it around the right edge for a touchdown. Hillcrest needing a break now. They're down and they get one. On 4th down, Kimbrough would drop back and throw it. Interference right there. You see the safety get into him. That leads to Jacoby Harris juking out a couple of defenders and getting it into the end zone. Great run there. That made it 28-17. That was the score in the third, but down the stretch, it's all Vestavia. As we check out the final, disappointing final score tonight from Hillcrest as they dropped to 0-2 in the region after moving up to Class 7A. Vestavia 49, Patriots 17. More Class 7A Region 3. Oak Mountain at Thompson tonight. Warriors head coach Mark Freeman getting fired up. Of course, he's got one of the best teams in the state, a lot to be fired up about. First quarter already 7-0. Trent Seaborn to Bryce Lewis. He dives it in the end zone, and the extra point makes it 14-0. Oak Mountain trying to get back in this when Eagles quarterback Will Odell's pass gets deflected by a Thompson defender, but drops into the hands of Zach Fitzgerald. Hey, it counts for 6, and the extra point made it 14-7, but the Thompson defense buckles down. Will Odell is buried under a pile of defenders. Jared Smith and company get the sack right there. Second quarter, Thompson leads 21-7, and the Warriors running back R.J. Evans, you're going to rip one off here. Left tackle, cuts it back up. The vision, shoulder square, 37 yards to the house. That made it 28-7. Then late in the first half, Seaborn showing you why he is a major college prospect with a nice touch here to Dedrick Kimbrough, 35-7 at half. And Thompson goes on to win it tonight by the final score of 42-7. And they remain unbeaten in region play at 2-0. Non-region game tonight, Class 2A Aliceville traveling over to north of Tuscaloosa to take on Class 5A Sipsey Valley. And this one went about like you think it should go, 5A versus 2A. Jaden Howard scores on the first drive of the game for the Bears, putting them on top. And then on defense, Sipsey's going to get the interception as Isaac Gonzalez is Johnny on the spot. And that leads to L.J. Cormier. He'll bobble the snap, but he's a good athlete. Picks it back up, not much more than bobble it, drops it, but look at the athleticism here. Gets out of the pocket, throws back up against his body, the jump pass to Jaden Howard. That's a heck of a play right there. That's a touchdown. And Sipsey rolls tonight. And we go to the scoreboard, 55-13, 5A over 2A tonight as the Bears get the win over the Yellow Jackets. 3A Region 3, Greensboro at Hale County. Greensboro coming right up Highway 69 to take on the rival Hale County Wildcats. Dylan Carlisle here on a little bit of a trick play. I can't find the ball. Eventually I'm going to find it, though, because it's in the hands of Brandon Lockwood. Brandon Lockwood is going to get a touchdown for the Wildcats. Greensboro quarterback Amari Long trying to get the Raiders going deep, but it's going to be picked off by Wesley Bates. Then Hale County on offense. B.J. Hill with a nice run for a first down. Later in the drive, Carlisle with a little play action and throws a strike to Tyrell Smith. And Hale County is in command. This is Greensboro trying to get back in it. They get a first down there. Hale County, though, takes over, and it looks like they're going to get more points, but this time Carlisle is intercepted. Great play by Greensboro. And number 4, we don't have his name. He wasn't on the roster, but I'll tell you this, he was off and running. Let's check out the final here. Hale County is going to get the win. Good game tonight. Big win for the Wildcats, 24-16 over Greensboro. Class 1A Region 3, Holy Spirit hosting University Charter out of Livingston. And it is the Trailblazers from Livingston striking first. Andres Bell breaks free and gets it in for a touchdown to make it 7-0. Later in the first half, Trailblazers going to the air, but the Saints' Alex Tant is going to say, "Pick you very much," as he picks it off for the interception and races it back to midfield. Nice play there. With the second quarter coming to a close, quarterback Thomas Smith drops back and connects with running back Andres Bell for a 20-yard touchdown, his second of the half, 22-0 University Charger. That was the score at the half. The Trailblazers go on to get the win tonight. We're going to see them get one more touchdown, I think. Well, we'll go ahead and, let's go ahead and see if they get one more touchdown here in the second half before we close out these highlights. And indeed they do, and they get the win tonight. Now let's go to the scoreboard, and you'll see it 34-6. Holy Spirit here tonight at home. I thought they had a chance to win this game. But give University Charter credit. They come to town and put a licking on the Saints tonight. All right, still to come tonight, another edition of Conyers Corner with legendary Alabama practice official Eddie Conyers. Plus, we'll have Andrew Bones' recruiting tales, the story of Brody Coyle. But up first, high school football highlights continue. A big one in Birmingham in Class 7A Region 3 as Hoover played on the road at Hewitt Trussville. We'll have the action next on Football Friday.
We are the Gordo High School cheerleaders, and we love Football Fridays.
You're on WVUA 23 Sports.
Let's go Green Way!
We love our cheerleaders, and thanks to Pool and Patio Center for presenting our cheerleaders each week. All right, let's get right back to the action here on Football Friday. 7A Region 3, big one tonight. That video in the tease said at Hoover, but this game was at Hewitt Trussville. Hoover was at Hewitt. After a short lightning delay, this monster matchup got underway, and Noah Dobbins scrambling and then gets sacked by Justin Hartley for Hoover. Big loss there. Later in the first, the Bucks get sloppy as Mac Beeson's pass is tipped and picked off by Parker Floyd to end the drive. This was a defensive game. Weather had a big part in it. Second quarter, Huskies get it going. C.J. Davis with a huge run, 45-yard gain all the way down to the 1-inch line. And, of course, then they will cap it off here as Dobbins calls his own number and gets it into the end zone. They would lead 7-0. But as we check out the final, that was going into the half. What a game. Hoover scores a touchdown, goes for 2, and gets the lead. And then Hewitt Trussville misses a late field goal that would have won it. Hoover, gutsy play there by Chip English, the head coach, to go for 2. That turns out to be the difference in a defensive game. The Bucks with a huge road win tonight over the Huskies. 8-7 is that final score. 6A Region 3, Helena hosting Spain Park. Both teams coming in 2-0 in this one. Spain Park quarterback Brock Bradley drops back and fires a 58-yard strike to Mitchell Frazier. Nicely done. Spain Park thinks they may have a team that can contend for a state championship in Class 6A. Ryan Brezel punches it in from 3 yards out. Put the Huskies on the board right here as they get a touchdown. They're not going to go down. Helena's not going to go down. Nathan Jones puts them on top 14-7. But then it's 33 seconds left in the first half. And this is big. Bradley's pass to Andrew Thornton sets up a closing drive, and then a pitch and catch from Bradley to C.J. Calley ties the game at half, 14-14, and that would be huge because this game goes right down to the wire. We got the final for you. The Jags escape tonight. As we check it out, Spain Park gets the win on the road at Helena, 28-26, so they remain undefeated overall and in the region. What a ball game tonight. Huge, huge victory for Spain Park. 4A Region 4, the Battle of the Groves. Pleasant Grove at Oak Grove, and the fans going wild in this one. First drive of the game, the Spartans weren't messing around. Colin Moore on the jet sweep, 6 yards into the end zone, and Pleasant Grove leads 6-0. They get the extra point, 7-0 now. And this play is just crazy. High snap, but Tramel Washington keeps his eyes downfield and finds Caleb Freeman. Turns out to be a touchdown, making something out of nothing, 13-0. Oak Grove, though, fights back. Second goal from the 3. And Ethan Jones is going to barrel it across for 6. That makes it 14-7. But now the play of the game, 3rd and 3 from the 8. Wet snap to Washington, bounces off his finger, and how it's a mad scramble. It's going to just be pure athleticism right here. Looping in, looping out, and Washington gets the touchdown. That's a crazy play, and that would be enough. As we check out the final, Pleasant Grove gets the win tonight as they go on to win it big, 41-7. That play kind of catapulted them. That made it 21-7, and they go on to win it 41-7. All right, also in 6A Region 5 tonight, Woodlawn was at Homewood. We were hoping to get highlights of that game. We were not able to do so, but we can tell you Homewood picked up a big region victory tonight as they win it big over Woodlawn. The Patriots take down the Colonels as we check out that final score tonight, 52-14. Homewood with the win tonight over there in the Birmingham area. On last night, it was 6A Region 5 in a rainstorm at Parker High School, but they played through it, and Parker's defense was on a mission right here. A sack there. Defense leads to offense as the Thundering Herd gets a touchdown across, and that would be the first of many. We're going to show you one more touchdown right here, and it is all Parker last night over in Birmingham as we check out the final. The Thundering Herd big by the final score of 46-0 over Mortimer Jordan. All right, coming up next, our Football Friday Band of the Week, and also other games tonight as we run down the complete Football Friday scoreboard. That's on the way. Please stay with us. More Football Friday on WVUA 23. That's the American Christian Academy High School Marching Band. They're our Band of the Week, brought to you by Jolly Hearth and Patio. Welcome back to Football Friday on WVUA 23. It's time now to check in on all of our area scores, and we're going to turn our attention to the complete Football Friday scoreboard and run them down for you. So let's get started on that because we got a bunch of them to get to. Tough night for County High on the road at Prattville. The Wildcats drop it to the Lions. They are 0-4 now on the season, 30-0 the final there. West Blockton tonight puts it on Holt. Holt's had a good year so far, though. West Blockton's a good team, and the Tigers take down the Ironmen tonight big. It was Northside pulling it out at Selma. Big win for the Rams, 26-20, and Tuscaloosa Academy remains unbeaten. It was not easy. This was probably their, one of their tougher games, but they win it over Isabella on the road, 21-12. The Knights get it done. This is a shocker to some degree. Not that Winfield's not a good team, but Gordo is really, really good. And Gordo, though, playing with heavy hearts tonight after one of their players, Jack Plowman, passed away earlier this week, so you know that was weighing heavy on their hearts. And our prayers and condolences go out to the Gordo team and all the folks there in Gordo after Jack Plowman passed away. They fall tonight at Winfield, 28-7, the final. Lynn blanks Pickens County, and a lot of defensive games tonight. Maybe the weather had something to do with it. 6-0, the final there. It was Fultondale over Fayette County, 38-7. Demopolis big at home over Montevallo, 40-7, the final there. Berry wins at Hubbardville, 32-13, and Greene County over Selledgett tonight, 28-6. South Lamar loses at Marion County, 24-14. Vincent blanks Lamar County, 37-0. Choctaw County over Pickens Academy, 36-8, and Patrician Academy wins down in Greensboro over Southern Academy, 57-30. It was Calera over Pelham. Good ball game there, 35-27. And Leeds beat Lincoln, 42-14, the final in that game. Also tonight, Clay Chalkville blanked Shades Valley, 42-0. And it was J.B. Pennington at half. They didn't start this game until 9:15. So 24-15, Pennington leading Ohatchee at the half. What a game here. All the defensive games, not this one. 94 points combined. Dora beats Hamilton. 52-42 was the final in that game. And it was Linden downing R.C. Hatch by the final score of 52-0. Good Hope beat Haleyville 27-7. And it was Russell Christian in 8-man football tonight over in Meridian, Mississippi, beating Tuscaloosa Christian 57-20. More 8-man football. We've talked about North River Christian. They're playing a lot of young kids. I mean, 8th graders and 9th graders, and they take it on the chin tonight at Lakeside Christian. They fall big, 63-0. Also, you don't see it on the board, but Mountain Brook over Pell City tonight, 41-14. That's the complete Football Friday scoreboard, but we aren't done with high school football. When we return, Joe Gaither is in Madison, Wisconsin. Bama Central's Joe Gaither, so I'll have high school analysis, including our game of the week, by myself tonight. What a game. Slugfest down in Centerville tonight. Bibb County gets the win over ACA. We'll examine what this means coming up next on Football Friday. And we're back on Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris. Bama Central's Joe Gaither is in Madison, Wisconsin for the Alabama-Wisconsin game. So I got high school analysis by myself tonight. Our game of the week was ACA at Bibb County, a big region matchup. And we're going to take a look at some of the video here in our screen. And as we talked about, Alex Booth was there. This was a crazy game. They got it underway. And just, I mean, literally about 15 minutes into the game, they had a driving rainstorm with lightning and rain that was so heavy they had to clear the stadium. And you have to wait 30 minutes after a lightning strike. So they waited once, and then 30 more minutes passed, and they waited twice before it was more than an hour after they got this game underway. And by then, it was just a defensive slugfest. 0-0 well into the third quarter. Our crew had to come on back. But we didn't miss anything other than the overtime touchdown. This one went to overtime 0-0, and Bibb County pulls it out 6-0. It's a huge region win. These are two of the best teams in the region, and ACA has had a lot of tough losses. They're a good team. It's going to say that they're 1-3, but they're good. But Bibb County tonight with a huge win in our game of the week. So they are unbeaten in the region and feeling pretty good about themselves. All right, that is going to do it for our high school analysis of our game of the week. When we come back, our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature. That's next on Football Friday.
We're the Sipsey Valley Bears, and this is Friday Night Football on WVUA 23.
We've got another high school final to pass along to you. A lot of wild games tonight. Coleman beats Jasper 21-20. They score a touchdown late, and then Jasper misses a field goal on the last play of the game. So Coleman gets that win. All right, welcome back to Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. It's time now for our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, presented by Premier Service Company, the power to keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Tonight, the subject of high school NIL and how the AHSAA's new director intends to deal with it. Here's Stu McCann.
At the press conference to introduce Heath Harmon as the new executive director of the AHSAA, there was a clear headline.
I know it's going to be a challenging job, but I'm ready to meet that challenge.
Determining a core purpose in the age of NIL does not happen overnight, as Harmon talked about last month.
You know, you want to be progressive, but you also want to protect. What are we protecting? Who's going to manage this type deal, and how are we going to be progressive, because we know that we've got to have a plan. If you look at some of the states around us, they would pass plan, they might even name it NIL, and maybe a month later they're having to go in and amend it.
According to a lawsuit filed in North Carolina last month, 38 out of 50 states have passed legislation that allow high school student athletes to profit financially in one way or another from their name, image, and likeness. And the rules of other states are impacting Alabama high schools.
We were reached out to by an agent who had an offer in hand from a trading card company, significant. It was 7 figures.
Jason Seaborn is the father of Thompson High School quarterback Trent Seaborn. The sophomore is a consensus 4-star prospect in the class of 2027. The $1 million NIL offer was contingent on Seaborn's family moving and attending school in a state that allows high school athletes to earn NIL money. The family passed on the offer, and it's not the first time. The same company reached out the summer after Trent Seaborn's freshman year in 2023.
It was 5 figures the first time, and then it went up to 7 figures the second time.
But that competition there in terms of other states offering certain things and our student athletes choosing to or not, that's a situation that we're going to have to deal with at some point pretty soon, I think.
The AHSAA's amateurism rule does not actually prohibit a student-athlete opportunity to profit from their name, image, and likeness. Any high schooler can market themselves as long as that marketing plan does not include the school uniform, jersey, or logo.
Well, if you're just an individual in a car dealership or somebody wants to bring you down and let you represent that dealership, and it's just an individual not representing a school or anything, from my understanding, our amateur rule deals with basically being representative of the school that you participate in with the gear that you actually wear. It's moving in a different direction at this point. I think in the next few years, that's something that we're going to have to look at.
There's already been significant movement. Midway through last season, the AHSAA allowed student athletes to receive gift cards for food-only purchases, and there doesn't seem to be a limit on how much the gift cards can be worth. The AHSAA has also raised its limit on gifts players can receive when attending All-Star and college prospect camps. For example, previously, the shoes and clothes received at a camp sponsored by Nike or Under Armour was limited to $250. That number is now $1,200.
You might go to a camp and they might have a certain thing where they give shoes. Well, if you looked at the initial amount, which I think was $250, now you're lucky to find the kind of shoes that they're wanting to give.
All of the adjustments are wins for high school athletes, but are those short-term gains increasing the potential for a bigger risk?
If it moves to the middle schools and the Pee Wee levels and park ball and all of that, now that affects the interscholastic level. So not only how fast things are moving in terms of that, but what levels and how soon will it be at those levels?
You know, you start running into the risk of it being a tool used for, illegal high school recruiting, where one school with a whole lot of money in the community just starts, scooping up all these players and enticing them with, hey, you're going to get all this money if you come over here. And that, if that takes place on a wide scale, I think, can ruin what is really the last area where the sport is still somewhat pure.
Trent Seaborn's 7-figure NIL offer is likely never to be the norm. And his dad thinks that may be as big an issue going forward as the differing rules and legislation from state to state.
You've got a very, very tiny percentage of kids that are going to get money out of it, but it ends up ruining it for the vast majority of other kids. You know, how does that square?
Thank you, Stu. Fascinating piece. Coming up, Conyers Corner with the legendary Eddie Conyers. And Alex Booth will take us behind enemy lines to find out what the folks in Madison are thinking ahead of tomorrow's big showdown between Alabama and Wisconsin. SEC versus Big Ten. We'll have that straight ahead on WVUA 23 Sports.
At our college, we had what's called the Governor's Labor Management Conference. We have that down in Gulf Shores. There was a guy there with the American Textile Association had come to this conference, and he heard me speak. Well, he calls me. Now, they didn't pay for this conference in Gulf Shores, but it was just part of my job. So he called me and said he wanted me to come to Hilton Head, South Carolina for the American Textile Association meeting. And he said, we'd like it like you did at the Governor's Labor Management Conference. I thought he meant no pay, they just pay my expenses. And I didn't want to take 3 days to go away and that sort of thing. But I told him, no, I appreciate it, but maybe next year. And he said, well, we planned on you being here this year. And I said, well, maybe to keep me in, I keep giving him lines to get out. I said, maybe next year, and I appreciate this very much. But he was so insistent, I finally said, well, when's it going to be? He said, it'll be in September. I said, well, that's it. I said, Alabama will be practicing football. And I said, I won't be able to come. And he said, well, we're paying $3,500. I said, I tell you what, go ahead and put me down. I said, but help you, I'll be there.
Eddie Conyers is absolutely the best. Welcome back to Football Friday. It's time to go behind enemy lines. Alex Booth visits with Madison Sports Talk radio host Jim Rutledge.
The Tide head up to Madison on Saturday to take on the Badgers. Wisconsin fans' confidence level for the game is not high, however, after close games with Western Michigan and South Dakota to open the season.
I mean, honestly, on our shows, we're talking more of like, if the Badgers cover, is that the moral victory we're looking for right now? And obviously optimism will kick in, and we're hoping that maybe we play to the level of our competition. But right now, it's honestly like, let's just do better than South Florida. So it's a mixed bag of excitement for the juice of Alabama coming to Madison and what a win could represent and an opportunity to show off our city, but also trepidation because there's not a lot of optimism.
The Badgers landed redshirt senior quarterback Tyler Van Dyke in the portal this offseason. While the Wisconsin offense has not been on full display yet, 100.5 ESPN Madison radio host Jim Rutledge has seen some quality plays from the veteran quarterback.
There's a little bit of gunslinger. He's got a very strong arm. He believes in that arm. He hasn't had any massive or bad turnovers or backbreaking turnovers, but you feel like it could be coming. So hopefully some of those throws that he tries to make with his arm hit this time.
Wisconsin will be without star middle linebacker Jake Chaney for the first half of the game against Alabama, since he was ejected in the second half of last week's game due to targeting. A lot of the focus, however, remains on the Badgers' defensive line.
Yes, the D-line is a major concern for Wisconsin. How are they going to get pressure? How are they going to stop the run at the point of attack? Because it doesn't matter how great your linebackers are. If they're getting hit by guards, you're going to get crushed and run right down the field. So those D linemen have to create some chaos, eat up some blockers for Bama, and then allow the Badgers secondary or backers to make some plays.
For Wisconsin to come out on top with a win at home, it will be all about protecting the football on Saturday.
I think for any upset, they can't turn it over. I mean, any turnover is going to be really devastating. I think they really are going to struggle if they get behind the sticks. Because I do think that Alabama is going to have the ability to move the ball on this defense.
Interesting insight. In this note, too, it's being reported, and I expect this to be the case, that Caden Proctor will be back in the lineup at left tackle tomorrow for Alabama. It'll be the first game he's played since last season. Remember, he didn't go through spring practice either. So, but still, good to have him back. And I think Wisconsin's going to be ready to play. And I think this is going to be a competitive game, although I do think Alabama will win it. Well, coming up, Andrew Bone's recruiting tales and a one-on-one interview with Alabama tight end C.J. Dupree. Those stories are coming up when we return to Football Friday. Let's check in now with On3's Andrew Bone for recruiting tales. Brody Croyle is an Alabama legacy, but in the early 2000s, he almost signed with Florida State instead of Alabama. But in the end, the Westbrook Christian product followed his footsteps of his dad, John, and carried on a family tradition.
Brody, back in, I guess it was 2001, he was one of the top high school football recruits in the entire country. He was an Elite 11 participant. Everybody considered him a 5-star. With Brody's recruitment, he kind of kept everything very tight-lipped. Everyone assumed, because of his family connections with the University of Alabama, his father was an All-American football player for Bayer Bryant. Everyone just automatically assumed he was going to Alabama, but they were just about to get on probation. It had not been officially announced yet, but he knew it was coming, and he started looking at some other options, and he had developed a very close relationship with Mark Richt, and he went in, had an in-home visit with Brody, met with the parents, and they asked him straight up. They said, hey, are you going to be at Florida State while Brody's there? At least a couple years, at least 1, maybe 2 years, and he couldn't answer that because there were already rumors out there that Virginia was coming after Mark Richt. Georgia was also involved. And when he was straight up and honest with the Croyles about that decision, they kind of decided, all right, let's wait, let's kind of see what happens. And then I think a couple days later, Mark Richt took the job at the University of Georgia. So Brody and his family kind of reset. They looked at everything and said, you know what, let's just go to Alabama. Maybe they won't get hit on probation. Maybe they do. If they do, we'll take it. And I think that was certainly a big moment for Brody to go to the school gym at Westbrook, announce that decision for Alabama. Everyone thought he was going to Florida State, even though everyone had previously assumed Alabama. All the momentum shifted to FSU. When he announced that decision, the entire gym just erupted. Grown men that are parents of these kids that went to our high school that were just screaming, that were so excited because Brody Croyle was going to the University of Alabama, and they probably knew what that meant a little bit more than all the high school kids who were in the gym at the time. At the end of the day, he knew what it meant to play for the University of Alabama, and he had been around it his entire life. He stuck it out, had some great years in Tuscaloosa, and obviously is known as one of the best quarterbacks that have played at the university.
Love recruiting tales. And now let's go around the SEC with Football Friday's J.D. Zaza.
The battle to Atlanta is about to ramp up as multiple SEC teams open up conference play. One of the biggest games is the LSU Tigers traveling to Columbia, South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks. This will be the first time since 2008 that the Bayou Bengals have to travel to Columbia.
The key matchup of the game will be the LSU offensive line trying to contain true freshman Dylan Stewart. Through 2 games, the 19-year-old has 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. He's an X factor for the Gamecocks and will most likely be going up against left tackle Will Campbell. Most mock drafts have Campbell as the top offensive lineman off the board in the 2025 NFL Draft. According to Pro Football Focus, Campbell is the best pass protector in the country. On the Plains, the Auburn Tigers look to pick themselves back up after last week's loss to Cal. The difference between a win and a loss for the Auburn Tigers came down to quarterback play. Auburn's Peyton Thorne threw 4 interceptions. The day before the game, Auburn announced that redshirt freshman Hank Brown will start this week against New Mexico. When asked about Thorne's play, head coach Hugh Freeze states that he needs to be more consistent.
He's the highest performer in practice and preparation, which obviously has led to us giving him the starting nod. And but there's got to be carryover into the game. But again, sometimes adjustments have to be made, and I assure you we're prepared. If that continues, we have to go another direction.
Despite the double overtime loss to Oklahoma State, Arkansas's offense has shown massive improvement. Last season, the Razorbacks did not even crack the top 100 in total offense. This season, head coach Sam Pittman brought in former Razorbacks head coach Bobby Petrino to be the offensive coordinator. With new starting quarterback Taylor Green, Arkansas has the second best offense in the country, only behind Ole Miss through 2 games. UAB travels to Fayetteville tomorrow, and Blazers coach Trent Dilfer says Petrino belongs on the Mount Rushmore of play callers.
He is the puppet master. He'll sit there and he knows the weakness of every defense, and he's going to call play because he's got an arsenal call. He's going to call play that attacks your weakness.
Arkansas is currently a 23.5-point favorite against the Blazers. That'll do it for Around the SEC. For Football Friday, I'm JD Zaza.
I'm Christopher England with Tide TV, and we're here inside the Hank Crifts indoor practice facility, fresh off the practice field with tight end C.J. Dupree. C.J., how was practice out there today?
It was a great day. Tough Tuesday. That's our work day, full pads, everything. A lot of hitting, some good on good periods. So, just be able to get out there, get a good work day, and start introducing Wisconsin, and getting a look from our scouts against them is awesome.
A big win on Saturday night. It was tough there for about most of the game, but that final 6-7 minutes, you really took control, dominated, and pulled away. Just kind of talk about the difference right there at the end where you took control of the game.
Yeah, like you said, football is a hard sport. It's a tough sport, especially at our level we play at. So a win's a win. It was ugly, but at the end we came out with a win. We put up some big points there at the end, which was awesome. So, I think the end, which you guys kind of just got a glare of what Bama can do without Bama beating Bama. A lot of penalties, a lot of turnovers, a lot of misassignments. So, when you beat yourself as a team, there's not really much we could do. So, we put things together. We got our mojo going right there, and then we started putting up what we can really do and show people what we could do.
Let's talk about this offense and the potential it has. There's been flashes of huge plays, and you had some big pass plays, some big run plays there in that game. Just kind of talk about the potential of this offense and kind of your role in it.
Yeah, we definitely pride ourselves on the offense for being ball dominant, details, and explosive. So, we have a lot of explosive players. The receiving core is super tough. Our running backs can break anything they want. Obviously, Jalen's a great player in the run and pass game. Our O-line, we had some penalties and stuff. I include myself in the O-line, kind of the sixth man off the bench like basketball. So, we had our troubles up there. We fixed them. So, I think we're really explosive. We can just do that. And ball dominance, like you said, we had a couple turnovers. So, like I said, we already emphasized that, but just, looking at the small things, what little things can help, and then it'll help the big things.
You played in the Big Ten before you came here to Alabama with Maryland. You've played at Wisconsin before. Just kind of talk about that and have some guys from the team maybe asked you about playing there since they know you have experience.
It's a tough team. They're tough. They pride themselves on being tough guys. They play hard, physical. No matter you go up 21 points, you go up 28 points, they're going to be tough. They're going to hit you in the face. So, just being able to make sure we can do that, keep our composure, and, play our ball will be fun.
I appreciate it, CJ. Good luck and roll Tide.
Appreciate it.
For CJ Dupree, I'm Christopher England, and that's it for First Off the Field.
Thank you, Christopher. And before we go, it's time now to check in with WVUA 23 weather specialist Molly Starr with our weekend game day forecast for Alabama and Madison, Wisconsin.
Here's a look at your football forecast for the weekend. Alabama heading up to Wisconsin. Madison, if you're out there tailgating, a little bit chillier in the morning, 77 by kickoff. Mostly sunny skies, warming up to those lower 80s for the rest of that game. Auburn here at Jordan-Hare Stadium taking on New Mexico. If you're out there tailgating, temperature's a little bit warmer. You got those mid to upper 70s before the game, hitting around those again mid 70s for the game. You could see a scattered shower out there, so make sure to pack that umbrella. Can't bring it into the stadium, but make sure you're staying dry for tailgating. Mississippi State over in Starkville taking on Toledo. Their game is looking very similar to Auburn, where you have that chance of some scattered rain throughout the game. 6:30 kickoff, having temperatures cooling off from those upper to low 80s to mid 70s, and that's a look at your football forecast.
Thank you, Molly, and that is going to wrap it up for This Is Your Football Friday. I want to thank our sponsors, Alabama Credit Union, Pool and Patio Center, Jolly Hearth and Patio, and Premier Service Company. All right, we've got all your Alabama coverage coming up tomorrow night on WVUA 23 News at 10 with Sports with Alex Booth, and then again more coverage on Sunday. This has been a crazy night, but we've loved every minute of it. Appreciate you spending it with us. A reminder, for more high school football coverage, go to WVUA23.com. Also, download our app, the WVUA 23 app. Put us on your phone or wireless device, and you can watch our news and different shows like this one, Insider TV, anytime, any place. All right, for our entire crew here, many of the names you see right here on your screen, thanks for watching. Again, remember, the news at 10 tomorrow night with a complete recap of Alabama and Wisconsin. For everybody here at WVUA 23 Football Friday, I'm Gary Harris. Have a great weekend.